Hi, everyone. This is Norman Kochnek here in rather sweltering Sydney, Australia. Very happy that Australia did well in the Test series against England, but we drew the last test. It's another question. But more importantly, I have Gurkharat Singh Gill sitting here with me, an esteemed gentleman who, if anyone you want to get on your show to talk about cricket, who's very discerning, very factual, very knowledgeable, this is the man. How are you, Gurkharat?
Thank you, Norman. Been some time since made an appearance. A lot has been happening, but yeah, happy to be back and discussing cricket once again. And the one thing that you didn't add, but I will add, is that perhaps I am the only guest on this show who pulls your leg as much as I do, because no one else even dares to do that. I just do it, and yeah, I've had the good fortune of you also taking it quite sportingly. So yeah, always happy to be back here.
No, you're excellent. And I have to understand. I do this almost every day for the full year. My attendees, my guests ebb and flow. I can't get them to do every day. I just love the fact they come on when they can. There's a lot of good things going to happen this year when I'm get out of this bloody COVID cloud. But yeah, I want to go to Pakistan. I want to go to Sri Lanka. I want to go to India. It's just a matter of getting out of this cloud as we know it now. But let's not talk about that. Let's talk about something more positive. ViratKohli, he hasn't got 100, but geez, he batted well yesterday, didn't he?
Yeah, I thought he batted quite well. He was brilliant. I was checking the control percentage on Crick Info as well, and he was, I think, before he got dismissed, he had a control percentage of 92, while having played more than 200 balls. So that tells you how much was he in control of the innings, and he showed great discipline as well. And his dismissal was more about him trying to score a few quick runs with the tail rather than the bowler outfoxing him. uh, but yeah, which is why I've always been saying that with Virat, isn't a case of him being out of form, because ever since that Adelaide Test in 2020, where India were all out for 36, he had a very good innings over there. He scored a 70 odd. I think it was 74. Then he had two 70s against England at home, both in the second innings of a difficult track. One of them was on a fifth day track in Chennai, which was another 70 plus score. Then again a 70 against England in the second test. Then, even if you look back at the World Test Championship, I thought he batted brilliantly on day one, and he scored very well compiled 44 runs. He again batted with a control of 90%, was leaving the ball really well. And in that England series as well, he had 250s and 140. He had 150 at Oval, 150 at Leeds. And then I think he had a couple of 40s. He had 140 in Lords, and then another 40 in the second innings at Oval. So he's been batting well, but the big scores haven't been coming. And even in the first innings of the Centurion Test, he was batting fine. I just chased a very wide ball, which sometimes can happen with batsmen, where you just lose your concentration. And yesterday also, people keep talking about how he shouldn't play the cover drive, but again yesterday, the most amount of runs that he scored was through the cover region. And what people also need to understand is that for him, cutting down the cover drive is not an option, because he really doesn't play the cut. I don't remember the last time I saw Kohli playing a square cut or a cut shot. So if you're not going to play the cut shot, then you have to score your runs in front of the wicket. And if you are going to score your runs through front of the wickets, there is going to be the odd occasion where you're going to edge the ball. And what is even more important for people to realize is that if Virat Kohli stops playing the cover drive, then he becomes another Cheteshwar Pujara, because you can't have more than one Cheteshwar Pujara in the lineup. You can't have too many people just not playing their shots, because then you get into a shell. So, yeah, I think there's been a lot of over analysis when it comes to Virat Kohli and his drought of hundreds, but he's batted well, I feel.
Well, look, that was his 28th 50 and also a further 27 centuries. 55 innings of 50 or more. Who could ever knock that? The man is really incredible. Yes, he hasn't scored a century for a while. Yes, he's not at his top form, but he's still a force. And I can assure you that every side that goes out there, wishes he wasn't walking out in front of them, because he is something of a special player, and is capable of anything at any time, and we all know that. So, and his
See,
captaincy yet again, his
you
captaincy
have summed it
record is
you've
yeah,
summed it up quite well. That he has 28 50s and 27 hundreds. That makes it 55 uh, 50 plus scores in 99 test matches, which basically means that in every three innings he's scoring a 50 plus score, right?
exactly.
And he's still averaging more than 50. So for all the criticism that has been there in the last 2 years with him not scoring a double, not scoring 100, in the larger picture, he's still doing better than what most batsmen would do, right? If you're scoring a 50 plus score in every three innings, you got to be very good. That is the so what Kohli said before the match was that he's being held against his own standards is pretty much right, because how many batsmen do we know in today's time who would be scoring a 50 plus score in every two test matches? I don't think there are many.
No, and we're taking away from Kagisa Rabada. He's another man with an incredible stat. He's played 50 tests. He's got 230 odd wickets. That's amazing. He's heading for four 500 easily in his test career, and he's only 26. And then he is really another significant player in this. He's a sensational bowler, and he's on home turf. Anyway, look, the Indian total of 223 doesn't sound like much, but now that we've got Dean Elgar out cheaply, I'm very confident South Africa will not get a good score. Dean Elgar is the glue for their team, in my opinion. Hence last innings where he got 96 not out. They're gonna not like the fact of batting today, because I think the Indian bowlers, in particular Shami, obviously Bumrah, and even Umesh Yadav, will come to the fore. And we know that
See, I would hope that India are able to restrict them under 220, or what India scored, but honestly, I felt it wasn't a 220 odd track. It was easily somewhere around 270 to 300 kind of a pitch, because even when ball was swinging in the first session, it did not have the pace. Batsmen were still having the time to adjust late on this pitch, right? Only in the third session, I thought that the wicket quickened up a little bit, and when it quickened up, the movement became lesser. So it wasn't it was a difficult pitch, as has been the case in most overseas tours, but it wasn't a 220 kind of a pitch. It was probably a 270 or a 300 kind of a pitch. And I know, of late the Indian team's been quite successful with playing the five bowlers, but right since the time the team was announced and Ravindra Jadeja was missing, I've been of the view that India need to play seven batsmen, because, like you said, how Dean Elgar is the glue to the to the South African batting lineup. Ravindra Jadeja is the glue to the Indian batting and the Indian bowling, right? Because we have seen on countless occasions now in this test how, once the fifth or the fourth wicket falls, you are suddenly into the tail. With Jadeja, even if he was not scoring runs, he was ensuring that he was playing enough balls to make life easier for the likes of Pant to come in. Like, you need to look at how Jadeja batted in the second innings at Oval in the fourth test. He was promoted to number five with the new ball in operation, right? When India had lost just two wickets in two balls with Rohit and Pujara getting out. Now, Jadeja might have only scored 19 odd runs in that innings, but he batted 70 balls and he ensured that Rahane and Pant were not going to face the new ball, right? And we know how susceptible Rahane has been in the last 2.5 years. With Pant also, there's slight improvement, but in these questions, but in these conditions, I don't feel he's a number six batter, right? But the
yeah,
good thing that he did yesterday was what I felt was that he was leaving the ball around his off stump quite well, which was something which he kept nicking to Robinson in England. So there's improvement with Pant, and till the time he got out, he was actually batting quite well. It's just that he played a bad shot. So I'm positive about Pant improving, because also you have to keep in mind his age. But I just felt that you can't have two number eights in Shardul and Ashwin in the lineup and expect them to do a job which a complete batter or Jadeja might do. So that's been my concern with the 11 throughout. But I can understand why the conviction is there to play five bowlers, but at some point of time it was going to come back and bite them. And it did. And in hindsight we might say that okay, Ashwin played a careless shot, and so did Shardul played a careless shot. But the fact is, even when Shardul scored that 60 at Gabba or those twin 50s at Oval, Shardul is the kind of player who will go for his shots. Some days it will come off, some days it won't. And there is a reason why he has an average of 16 or 17 in the Ranji Trophy format. It's because he goes for those shots. So you can't expect.
Welcome Siddharth. Let's welcome Siddharth. How are you, Siddharth?
I'm good, Norman. I've been away for a very long time. Apologies for that because of the
No,
amount
don't be
of
silly.
work. But the Omicron has also ensured that I prioritize a lot of other things. So, Happy New Year to you and Happy New Year to Gil also. But I've been up to date with all what has been happening thanks to Gil's insightful comments on Instagram. I read them on regular basis.
Magnificent, Gil. Your Instagram is fantastic. I love the way that you do it. It's informative. Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Happy New Year.
Hi,
Happy New
happy
Year,
New
brother.
Year.
Hello.
Happy New Year.
Yes,
Gil, Gil's Instagram's fantastic.
it is.
It's
It is. It is.
insightful. I think it's great, and with a combination of all of us involved, it's superb. I'm just I'm so impressed with India, and also so frustrated with India. They won the first test very, very well. They should have won the second match. Up until the last innings, they were in the game. And then something happened. They just didn't get any wickets, and Dean L got 96 out, and they lost. Realistically, they were in the game right throughout. Even though they didn't
Oh,
play that well, they were still in the game. And it's happening yet again today, or these that last couple of days.
maybe Cape Town might be what Johannesburg couldn't be for the Indian cricket team. I think the pitch is a lot more spicier. And looking at the Indian bowlers, I think they've got their tail up now. They've got an Elgar. Firstly, that is the major strike that has happened. So the bowler who will be on song today, which he wasn't in Johannesburg, unfortunately, it'll be Jasprit Bumrah. 4 overs, 4 maidens, 1 wicket, no runs. That has set the tone. You got an Elgar out. Now India should technically take a lead close to 50 in order for them to win the test match because the pitch will crack up as the game progresses. The sun is out, so the early moisture and everything that won't be there, which happened in the first day. India had the toughest of the conditions. So kudos to Kohli for gritting it out there. Kudos to him. I think it was his best knock compared to all his previous 27th century. I think this was his best knock in an overseas condition for a very long time. He left well, he had discipline, but he ran out of partners. And Rabada
Ju-
was sensational.
just one thing. I think the last test match that India lost, you could probably say that in this entire overseas cycle, probably
Hmm.
that is the only test match which India have lost due to the bowlers rather than the batsmen. Because
Yes,
240
yes,
on that pitch, 9 out of 10 times you would back your bowlers to defend that target, and it will happen. See, bowlers are
yeah,
also allowed to have a bad day. It will happen. But my
yeah,
larger point has been that in the absence of Jadeja, India need to go back to the 7-4 combination and trust whosoever is their fourth bowler to bowl 20-25 overs in a day, because that hasn't been happening. Shardul bowled only 5 overs in the second innings at Centurion, and then Siraj was brought in to bowl in the first innings ahead of both Shardul and Ashwin, even when he was injured. So that showed some lack of faith. So India need to
yeah.
pick their four best bowlers and the top seven who they think can score a lot. This experiment of trying to get 20-30s from Ashwin and Shardul,
Mhm.
especially when you're not going to trust their bowling enough, is something which is not sustainable. And I
Indeed.
hope that they somehow come out of that in this test match, because
Yeah,
uh, if India do lose this test match, it is going to be more frustrating than the loss in
frustrating.
2018.
No, and
Because in
Norman, you
2018,
mentioned, and Gil, you mentioned frustrating. It was confounding because a total of 240 plus, if you look at readmission, South Africa readmission time from 1992, a total of 240 in Johannesburg in the fourth innings has been chased only twice, ever. 30 tests
Amazing.
only twice. And that too, it was by the Australians on both occasions. 2006 and 2011. So no other team has ever done that. And South Africa have also been under immense pressure. And we all thought that their batting was not going to be that strong against this Indian bowling attack. So when they lost Johannesburg, it was confounding. How could they lose in a venue where India had dominated them for 29 years? For me, that was a very, very surprising result, after Centurion particularly. But in Cape Town, yes, they are under par by 20, 30 runs. I feel if it was 250, the pressure would have been a lot more on the Proteas. But they've got an Elgar out. Now, the likes of Rasi Vanderdassen and Chemba Bavuma will be the key for them, especially Bavuma on day 2. And yes, Gill's point of the bowlers, yes, they should have gone with 4 of their best pacers, the 7-4 combination. I think in this overseas cycle, since it's the other combination has been clicking for India, maybe they're just not wanting to go that extra mile and change it. Maybe that is the reason.
Look, I think the South African batting lineup has proven to be extremely brittle. Other than Dean Elgar, they could fall over like a pack of cards. Van der Duss, I'm not impressed with. Peterson's done fair to middling. Bavuma's not on top of his game. Their bowlers can hit 20 here and there, but in all honesty, their batting lineup is extremely brittle. And without Dean Elgar getting runs now, he proved it. 96 not out in that last innings where they won the match. Yes, fantastic. He was supported somewhat, but that's the key to this South African side. And I think that India have to understand in their heads, they are ranked number 1 for a reason. This team are ranked number 6 for a reason. Let's show it. They did it very well in the first test. They lost their way towards the end of the second test match. They should be fire in their belly, and I think they will be. Fortunately, unfortunately, Rabada bowled very well. So just quickly, there are people asking questions about the Australia-England series. We'll just deal with that very quickly. Himanshu is asking us, I don't know why you're asking us about Australia versus England. We're talking about India versus South Africa. But anyway, look, Australia did not finish off. They did not
I'll
finish
add in a
off.
bit, let Gill answer this. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a bit. Look, SCG, 2 draws in a row against India and against England, but there's a big difference against India. India were on top of their game; they did extremely well against a very, very on top of their game Australian side. And this particular match, England started to show a bit of guts. In both cases, it just shows the lack of experience of the unit in Australia to get across the line, and they end up losing the series against India. Against England, while they won the series, it won't be as dramatic. The reality is Australia aren't as good as they make out to be. I'm sorry.
Before Gil chips in, I would like to say that, okay, the common trend seems to be Sydney. In the 2020 test, the pitch was flat and India were going for the kill. It was not as if Australia were bowling them out. They were going for the kill in that match. But yes, they lost a few wickets and India hung in there. It was not a pitch that was causing any kind of terrors. This test in Sydney against England, perhaps the weather on the first couple of days played a part, perhaps. But it was still a flat deck. It was a slow deck in Sydney. It wasn't causing that much of terrors to the batsmen as it was maybe a couple of years ago, maybe. As far as India are concerned, they have depth. But England, they don't have that much of depth. So the weather saved them in Sydney.
But Sydney's always been that kind of a pitch which hasn't broken even on the 5th day. Even when India drew the test match, the first day it had rained. So what the rain is also doing is it's ensuring that the pitch doesn't break enough. And if as far as I'm concerned, I think England should have drawn the test match in Adelaide as well, because that pitch was also very flat. Australia did brilliantly to enforce a result over there because that pitch was very flat. And Sydney was a draw even in if I'm not wrong, even in 2014 when India were playing there.
Yes, that series was 500 plus scores on.
In 2018 also, when the last 2 days rained out, again it was a very flat pitch. India had done brilliantly to dismiss Australia for cheaply in the first innings on the
Kuldeep,
3rd day
599. Kuldeep,
with Kuldeep Yadav coming in and Australia not batting well. So Sydney's always been the kind of pitch which really doesn't break up, and you need proper 5 bowlers to enforce that kind of a pressure to get those wickets. Even if I go back till 2012, India lost. India didn't bat enough, but it was also again a very flat track where Michael Clarke scored 320 Michael
Still
Hussey scored
29.
a century. Ricky Ponting scored a century, and Ricky Ponting scored a century when he was not scoring anything. So Sydney has been that kind of a track. Even if you go back till 2008, had it not been for Michael Clark taking those 3 wickets in the penultimate over of the day, even that Test match would have been drawn. So Sydney and draws don't really surprise me anymore because the pitch really
Yeah.
doesn't break. And unfortunately for Australia, I don't remember the last time Nathan Lyon actually ran through a batting lineup on day 5. And he's not been getting those tracks as well. And sometimes I
Not
feel
since
there's
the
also
last
a lack
7 years. The
there,
last
there-
time I
there's
could
a
recall 7 years back. That's it, Nathan Lyon.
yeah, that was Adelaide, which was again
Yeah.
more to do with Indian batsmen committing some
But,
sort of a
you know,
high.
okay, but let me just say something about Lyon. Despite all what we're talking about, he's still ranked the 15th most highest wicket taker in the world.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
hard
So
to comprehend.
yeah, so see, he's the best that Australia have at the moment. But
Yeah,
somewhere I felt even while watching the last day, I thought Stark was also disappointing. He when
I
he
would
was
agree.
bowling to the when he was bowling to the tail, he really didn't bowl enough Yorkers,
No,
and his bouncers were not troubling the batsman enough because they were clearly comfortably clearing their shoulders. So you have to direct the bouncer somewhere between the shoulder and the head, and that wasn't happening with
No,
Stark.
Norman,
So
I think Stark's bowling, ever since he made those technical changes 2 years back, has not helped. That
no,
potency is gone. He's leaking too many runs. He doesn't have control. And Stark's lack of control was one of the prime factors which allowed India that platform in the Brisbane Test
not
in
absolutely.
not only in Brisbane
2021.
Test, in
Any
all
test.
the series that happened. So
Yeah.
Stark a
I'm
lot
more
of
impressed with Bolt, Southey, Wagner when they play. I mean, they played pretty badly in the first test against Bangladesh, but they came back very strongly in the last one. And wasn't it great to see Ross Taylor take that wicket at the end? Now, I love the guy. I think he's a magnificent guy. Great career. Good on him.
Brilliant.
Best
Brilliant.
in New
Brilliant.
Zealand in terms of batting. And I'm going to keep gushing here. Usman Khawaja, oh my God, I love the way he played. I'm so glad they gave him a go. Really, it's been a pretty hard road for him. He's clearly one of the best batsmen in Australia. Clearly. Marcus Harris. Drove
Now,
into the
if Australia do not pick Khawaja for the tests
Oh
against
my God.
Pakistan and India, which especially in the subcontinent, where he has shown himself, especially in the 2018 series against Pakistan, had it not been for that knock in Dubai, it would have been a 2-0 whitewash yet again. If they don't pick him for this leg with the form that he's in from the Shield for the Sydney Test, then I guess Australia better forget about winning in the subcontinent, at least one test for another cycle of 4 years.
see
Look, I'm sorry. I'm going to say this. I shouldn't, but I am. Is there anything racially driven by this? Sorry. There's a lot of underlying comment about that to this day. Not everybody, but there are certain
there have been
people in
quite a
cricket.
few moments that I have also come across.
Yep.
But yeah, so Khwaja was dropped after the test in Headingley where Stokes had that 135 knock.
Yeah.
Now, I I don't follow Australian domestic cricket a lot, but from what I have seen of Marcus Harris play and Travis Head play, uh, I am not convinced that both of them are better than Khwaja.
Yep.
Whether
I
you
totally
you
agree.
even yeah, you can open with Khwaja, and I'm confident that he'll do better than Marcus
Of
Harris.
course.
And
Of
I'm
course.
sure that if you bat Khwaja at number 5 ahead of Travis Head, uh, over a decent enough sample space, I feel he will do well. And I
This will be
think that
this is
India.
you want to put a graph together, Travis said. 150, right? 50, you watch. He won't. I predict that Travis Head won't score another century for an elongated period of time. You watch. He had a incredible return. He put all his effort. It was great, but that wasn't consistent enough. You watch.
More Norman, has Marcus Harris played over 20 tests now? Has he played over 20 tests?
I think
Easily,
it's 15, and he hasn't scored a century. Out.
How big a rope? When was the last time an Australian player got such a big rope?
I'm
You
afraid
have to
they've got
struggle,
some good
right?
examples. Look, like Justin Langer played for a fair period of time before scoring runs. There have been a few batsmen that have done it, but they hang on to that. But realistically, you can only hang on to that if there's no one coming through. And clearly, Khawaja should be there. And I keep saying this name, Jason Sanger. He's
Anger.
captaining the Sydney Thunder at the moment. He bats even the short format like a great ability to score runs, beautiful shots. A bit like Hashim Amla when he played short version of cricket. He just played great shots.
Yeah.
This
No,
guy,
he's been
Jason
doing well in the
Sangha,
Big Bash League also for the Thunder. I think he's a leading run scorer for
exactly.
the Thunder. Jason Sangha.
Yeah, pretty sure he is. He's captaining that side. There's something special about him, and I hope they don't do what they've done to Khawaja, they do to Jason Sangha. He is an incredible statesman, articulate, intelligent, very astute with how to captain a side. Plus, he's a great bat. I mean, to me, Australia would be really well deserved to have him as a captain at some stage. Let's see. Mark,
Yep.
remember those words, okay? You remember that, okay? All right. Now, back to this game. There's a lot of discussion around Pujara yet again and Rahane. They're another two frustrating players. They got 50 odd each in the second test. They looked like they were going to resurrect the game, but it didn't happen. What do you guys make of these two? What are we going to do with these two?
Very touchy topic. I mean, I was of the opinion that if Pujara and Rahane did not contribute in the South Africa series, it was game over for them. Game over. But now, what is the definition of the contribution? If they had not scored 50s in Johannesburg, India would have been thrashed royally in Johannesburg. Now Pujara, along with Kohli, later weathered out the tough conditions in Cape Town. Rahane didn't. So I would say Rahane is on much more shakier ground than Pujara.
I would agree.
Again, if the benchmark, if the guiding post is centuries in 50s, which has been set, then even Pujara is in shaky territory. But again, looking at the conditions, looking at the holistic picture, is it right to criticize Pujara? In my honest opinion, no. Because he helped you wear the Australian bowlers down in 2020, 2021. It was not flashy. Yes, he didn't get those big hundreds. Agreed. Point taken. But he did play a part in that. Rahane, now he's not even the vice captain of the side. And his contributions have dimmed. I think he's on shakier ground.
Who's the vice captain of India right now? Is it
KL
Bumrah?
Rahul.
Oh, today
It's KL Rahul.
Bumrah is the vice captain for the ODIs.
Between talking about Pujara and Rahane, Pujara batted decently yesterday also. Unfortunately, he got out on the first good ball he got, or the first mistake you could say. Pujara hasn't scored a 100 in 3 years. That's there. But if you look series by series breakdown, right? Pujara had two 250s and 140 in England in 4 Test matches, and Rahane only had 150, which was a 60 odd at Lords. You go back to Australia. Pujara had 350s. Rahane had 100. Nothing else. You go back previously. You look back at the home series versus England. You go look back at this series also. Pujara still contributed with a 40 odd. You the more you keep going back, the more you'll realize the gap between the two, right? And because Rahane has had that 100, his average is closer to Pujara's. But if you're looking at consistent contributions, Pujara has still done more than what Rahane has done. What has hurt Pujara? What has really hurt Pujara is that he's not been able to score runs at home. Like, he only scored 150 against England in those 4 Test matches where he should have scored hundreds. He didn't score anything in the series against New Zealand as well. And you expect Pujara to score big runs at home. Overseas, you can still understand Pujara not doing well, because you have to understand his method is such that he eliminates the risk completely. So even if he bats time, he will not be able to score as much as what a Kohli would do or a Rahane would do. But at home, Pujara shouldn't be having any excuse whatsoever. And now, 4 Test matches versus England at home, 2 versus New Zealand at home, 6, and then you go back further, 2 Test matches versus Bangladesh at home, so 8, and then 3 Test matches versus South Africa at home in 2019. So Pujara has now played 11 home Test matches without a century. That is a bigger concern for me, Dan Pujara's contribution overseas, because overseas he's still done decently. In Australia, in the first pink ball test, he scored a 40 odd and batted 100 plus deliveries. He ensured that when Rahane was coming in, Australia had already bowled 50 plus overs, so he had sort of a breather. For me, Pujara not scoring big runs at home is a bigger issue than Pujara's contribution overseas, because overseas he's still done decently. It's the home test matches where Pujara has disappointed.
Okay, now with this match, it's about to start in 15 minutes' time. With Kohli captain now, Kohli was not far from the players. The previous Test match, he was on in the dressing rooms. There's something about Kohli's presence on the field at that moment that I think is very significant. I think Kohli will go for the jugular. He's going to try and blast these guys out. And I hope he does, because really, South Africa are not that good a team. Take Elgar, the cock's gone. So Elgar and Rabada, and you got not much left, I'm afraid. And I think very little of this side, indeed. So that to me, okay. So the reality is, we've had a great series so far, and it's very exciting, isn't it? We're still not certain who's going to win this match. And at this moment in time, you would say India are not on the front foot. We haven't seen the full South African batting lineup yet. The South Africa get less than 200. India have to win this match. Have to.
Yep. They have to. But again, somewhere down the line, Norman, this series is now starting to remind me more of the 2006-7 series, which India toured South Africa in. They won the first test in Johannesburg, but then they spectacularly squandered the advantage in Durban. And in Cape Town, with everything even, maybe on the fifth day, India lost the test on the fifth and final day in Cape Town, thanks to Smith. Fourth day. Oh, they lost on the fourth day.
They got a 40-run lead in the first innings. They scored 400 plus. Then they got Australia. They got South Africa out for some 370 odd. They had a 40-run lead, but they got all out for 169 in the fourth innings. It's the same test where Sachin was off the field, so he couldn't come and bat at 4. Then Lakshman was not ready, so Ganguly had to come and bat at 4. And I remember, and I went back. There was an article by Munga which said that it was disheartening to watch Sachin bat. It just didn't feel like Sachin was batting. And then South Africa were able to chase down 211, 215, whatever the target was with
Graham Smith scoring 94. I think he scored 94 in that match. Graham Smith.
In the first innings, in the second, in the second innings, I think he scored a 50 odd.
Yeah, so it's kind of coming into that particular stage now. Albeit low scoring and the pitch conditions a bit different. But India have to get a lead of 50-60 and then bat in the third innings, possibly over 270. Then the match is India's. Only then. Otherwise, if South Africa take the lead of over 50-60, then the pressure is right back on India. They have to bowl well. They say the third day is the moving day. In this test match, the second day is going to be the moving day. Because already 11 wickets have fallen.
In this series, it's always been the second day, because you've had teams being dismissed on the first day itself.
Yep. So the second day, a continuation of the series, it's going to be the moving day.
But if India do find themselves in a similar situation once again, where they have to bat well in the third innings and then defend a total in fourth innings, I think they'll be better than what they were in Johannesburg, because I felt on day 2 of the Johannesburg test, both Bumrah and Shami were brilliant, but they didn't get any rewards for their bowling. Elgar kept playing and missing, and then Shardul came in and got those wickets. But I hope there's a reversal of that luck, little bit of luck that probably the team needs, because in the second innings as well, it happened on quite a few occasions when India were bowling well, South African batters kept playing and missing, and whenever they tried to do something special, they were either over pitching or giving a lot of room to the batters, or bowling on the legs. So hopefully, I hope there's a lot more discipline this time, because if there is discipline, I don't think that Markram's the kind of batsman who can grind. I don't think Van der Dusen is the kind of batsman who can grind. I think there's only one grinder left, who is Bavuma, and he's done quite well in this series. He was not out in the second innings at Centurion. He was not out in the second innings in Johannesburg. Scored a 50 in the first innings in both the matches. So he's done well. So if India can get Bavuma and Peterson early, then they can harbor thoughts of a lead.
Of a lead. Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, I have an honest opinion about Burnham. I think he's a bit overrated. He's certainly not captaincy material. He was awful as a captain, and he just hasn't got what he used to have. Even if whatever he used to have, he hasn't got. There's something missing in his batting. I can't put my finger on it. He's just not there anymore. Anyway, I want India to smash South Africa, because South Africa deserve it. They're ranked 6th. They're not ranked high. They have to be put in their place, even at home. India need to realise they are the number 1 team in the world. Okay, they've had ups and downs here and there, yes, but they are the best team on the park, and they get a shot. That's what Kohli should be saying. Right, you bowlers, you go and get those wickets and have a determination. Shami, realistically, Bumrah, even Umar Shardaf, I reckon, is underrated. He's magnificent. I'd have him regularly in my side if I had the opportunity, but I understand why he's not. But he's a tremendous player, really. And these are the sort of wickets he's suited to. All right, Gil, Sid, did you want to go?
Yes.
No, I said thanks for coming. And
Anytime,
obviously, anytime you can join. We're going to get this game's going to hot up. This is going to be very interesting. I may come back. I mean, Gil and I talked about coming back for lunch yesterday, but I couldn't do it. I had a few things which got in the way, but we'll try and do some impromptu stuff when the game heats up.
Definitely, Norman. Take care. Bye, Gil.
Thanks, Sid. Thank you, Sid.
Bye.
Now, Gil, let me just say this. As an Indian, as a major Indian supporter, what's the word that most fits your thoughts? Is it frustration? Is it expectation? Or is it more you allow this to be the way that India play? What's your driving emotion when you look at India play cricket in this series?
It's been frustrating, honestly, because I thought that the series should have been wrapped up in Johannesburg, and this time if India lose, there's literally no excuse that they can give, because they have also won all 3 tosses. In 2018 they lost the 2 tosses and they didn't have the best of the conditions, but they should have batted much better than yesterday. Kohli needed some support. I thought Pant had batted brilliantly till the time he got out, because he was leaving it very well. So did Pujara. Like, these 2 players got out on the first bad shot that they played, and sometimes it happens. So that is there. And with Rahane, the less said the better. I've actually, honestly, I have been at a loss of words, because it's see, you saw him bat in the second innings in Johannesburg, and you saw what he can do. Like, what he can do is something which maybe even Kohli may not be able to do, when the pitch is bouncing so much and it has so much of pace. But he doesn't play well consistently enough. He will play one innings in 10-15 innings, and then be frustrating right along. Sometimes he will throw his wicket away, sometimes he will he will just not be there. In the first innings in Centurion, he could have, he batted very well for his 40 on day one. Had a very good opportunity to convert it into a 70 or a 80, or probably even get 100, but he didn't even reach his 50. So with Rahane, it's now becoming frustrating, because when you've played 75 plus odd test matches, uh, someone of his ability should not be having just 12 hundreds. And it surprises me so much that the total number of hundreds that Rahane has in his career, Kohli has more hundreds away from him. Like, and skill wise, there isn't much of a gap. I'd say when both of them came on the scene, Rahane was probably better. So imagine how much has Rahane underperformed if he only has 12 centuries in his career, with Kohli having 14 away from home. So it's something which is just quite frustrating and annoying. He just doesn't score
Especially when
runs.
he was Shreyas Iyer scoring when he played, scoring a magnificent 100 the way he did. He's class, isn't he? He really is class. And there are a number of other players in that same. We obviously haven't had Shubman Gill come back, and when Rohit Sharma's a
Vihari
part of the team,
Vihari did well in the second test. You saw Vihari seemed to have a lot of time defending. He didn't look rushed at all. The only issue with Vihari is that, like, I think he's another Pujara. He's another batsman who's of the Pujara mold, who probably doesn't have uh, that much strokes, but he can still bat time. He can still ensure that there's one end which is held up. Probably if he was there yesterday, maybe Kohli would have gotten to his century and added those 30-40 runs even more. So with Rahane, I'm really at a loss of words, because yeah, he should be doing much better than what he's doing currently. And regardless of how he bats in the second innings, I do hope that when India plays Sri Lanka at home, they drop Rahane, because Rahane anyway averages 35 at home. You can pick any batsman who plays in the Ranji Trophy, and he will do better than averaging 35 in Test matches at home. So with Rahane, yeah, I think his time's up. His time was up after the series against England at home, but they played him in England. He shouldn't have been picked up if for the New Zealand tour. But I genuinely hope that now his time is up. He's not picked again.
but see, when you say his time's up, is it something that they've got the selector to go knock knock Rahane, it's time, or is it Rahane got the guts to say, I know I've reached my point and I've got to leave? That's the question. I would hope Rahane's the sort of person would go, enough's enough for me. I've got to let someone else come through now. I would like to see him do that.
I don't think he will do that himself, because see, as an athlete, you always back yourself to come good, regardless of how you play or how you go, because that's what you are taught from the day you start picking up any sport, because you have to fight the odds always and do well. So as an athlete, it's very difficult to make that own call and say, okay, maybe I need to go, especially when you're not even that old. Rahane is 32, 33. He still has, if not more, around 5 years of cricket left in him. At least that is what he will think, because he doesn't have a technical deficiency. So it has to come from the selectors, because as an athlete, you would still back yourself to come good. And why wouldn't you? Because you've done that on so many occasions in your career.
But the selectors have given him a huge out by saying you're no longer vice captain. Surely that's a huge slap in his face, and it's almost telling him, hey, you're on your last legs. You're no longer vice captain. We're looking elsewhere for the future. You've had your go. You're no longer vice captain, and your days are numbered. They must have had that conversation already. They must
See,
have told him you're no
you need
longer
to
vice
see.
captain, and your days are numbered. They must have said that.
Yeah, you see, you need to see the contrasting fortunes of two senior players in this side. There's Ajinkya Rahane on one hand, who's been carried for so long, and there's Ishant Sharma, who's been dropped after 2 or 3 games. So that tells you multiple stories. One, that when you perform overseas, you get a longer rope. Two, when you miss out on a series overseas and your replacement does well, then you get behind the pecking order. Three, it also tells you that there are good quality fast bowlers coming from the Indian circuit, as opposed to a good middle order batsman that you might want. There are still batsmen coming in, but I don't think any of them in terms of skill is as better as Rahane is. So these are the contrasting fortunes of two players. And Ishant Sharma has been one of India's best in the last 5 years.
Oh, it's exciting to me. I want this test match to be exciting, and it looks like it's going to be. I I seriously can't see South Africa getting more than 200. India should not even allow them to. Now that Elgar's gone, this batting order should fall out like a pack of cards. They really should. They're lacking that backbone of an Elgar. Even though Bavuma's there, I don't think they've got enough. No de Kock, my God. There's not much to get excited about there from this South African team. And then if India do get well in front, they're going to really slam it home with a big third innings of the match and really put the pressure. Just quickly, do you think Ashwin will how important will Ashwin be in the last innings?
See, I thought he was bowling well in Johannesburg in the second innings. I just think that there's been a lack of confidence as well in his bowling skills from the captains. uh, they are trying. They're looking at him as a Jadeja, but there's the difference. He's a better bowler than Jadeja, and he's an inferior batter than Jadeja. You can't expect him to bat like Jadeja and bowl like Jadeja. It's different. He needs a longer spell to get into rhythm, and we saw how well he was bowling in Johannesburg on day three. So if he's given a decent enough spell today, and in the next innings, I suspect that he will do good, because Maharaj was getting a little bit of purchase out of the wicket. So if Maharaj is getting a little bit of purchase out of the wicket, there's no reason why Ashwin can't get it as well.
But the relationship of Kohli and Ashwin still intrigues me. I really am intrigued by their relationship. I don't know whether it's a great relationship, but I think Kohli has to really throw Ashwin and say, right, Ashwin, do your job. Get
Okay, so
these wickets.
Markram's gone. I just switched on the commentary. Markham's gone. Well, now I need to switch on the TV, and I have to take a leave.
All right. To me,
Okay.
yeah, I can see that's the fact is that I predict South Africa to fall apart, honestly.
I
So how
hope
do you
I
get
hope
out?
you're
He was
I
bowled
hope
by
you're
Bumrah
right.
comprehensively. Bumrah, let's go.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you so much. It was great to be
Thanks,
back
Gil.
on the show. I hope to do a lot more shows with you. Honestly.
Well, we're going to see more of you, because now with South Africa 2 for 17, this could be a very short match. I'm being cheeky, but I've got this feeling Bumrah's going to be let loose like a caged animal here. He's going to go crazy.
Let's hope. Let's hope. Anyway. Okay. Bye.
All right, Gil. Thanks for joining
Bye.
us. Again, everybody, thank Gil for joining us. He's magnificent. A great Instagram platform. His own Gilly Cricket is also there. He's magnificent. Got great, insightful interviews. Very much worthy of your time and attention.
By the way, did you see the latest interview? It's with Andrew Fidel Fernando.
About
It's from
Arjuna
yeah.
Tonga.
No, that's just one small clip, but he mostly talks about uh, the cricket and the connection of Sri Lankan people with cricket. So I'm sure you will enjoy that, because I've heard stories from you about Sri Lanka as well. So you'd be able
Well,
to relate to it
I
and
know
like it.
Andrew. I know them all very well. You know that for 20 years.
Yeah.
I've been among Sri Lankan cricket since '99, I think, or even really back to the World Cup. But it's I know them all very well. Arjuna in particular, Sripali opened their own training centre the other day. Arjuna attended. Andrew Fernando, he's been around for a while as well. He knows me very well.
Yeah. Anyway, I'll
Fantastic
take care
effort.
of you now. Okay. Bye.
All right, Gil, thank you very much. See you soon. Again.
Bye.
Well, here we have India have already taken the second wicket of Aiden Markram. Didn't last long. Bumrah ready to go. They're firing on all cylinders here. It's great to see. Bumrah's smiling from ear to ear. Just want to see the replay of that dismissal. Bumrah bowled him. Oh, a jag back. So funny. Let it go. Ooh, ugly. Very, very ugly. Baramarani.
Hi Norman, how are you?
Good. Had a good chat, as you know, with Gil and Siddharth there. And your comments were flying through as well. South Africa already lost their second wicket.
Yeah, I would say it was actually can go back to yesterday's last ball when Maharaj was on strike. I found it very surprising that on the last ball, why he did not take a run, so that next day morning, the night watchman would be on strike. Means, if you ask me, that was very poor judgment by the South African batsman out there last night. last night, if the last ball, there was a clear single which I think Maharaj had hit for along mid on, but they did not run. Which I even thought that shouldn't he would have run, he would have been the other end, so that next day Maharaj would have opened. So like the first over, so we would have Maharaj getting out instead of Markham getting out. So I would say this goes back to yesterday in very poor judgment by South Africa.
Look, Peterson, Van der Dusen, and Bavuma, I predict they'll go pretty quickly, and then we'll be into the tail. The keeper's fresh, and they got the bowlers. This not could. It should be a match where the actual Indian bowlers go nuts. They've got to keep very, very attacking fields and put enormous pressure on this team and say, right, we're number one in the world for a reason. We're here to smack you. And they got the bowlers to do it.
Last match also, I would say, like Gill and Sid were talking about, that luck was not favoring in, because the bowlers did bowl well. It was okay later on that but Shami and Bumrah initially were bowling very well, but it was just that it was every time going away from Elgar's bat or not connecting. But sometime, Lady Luck would definitely favor India, or at least stay average. Even if it stays average, I would say India will run through South Africa for sure.
Right. No, I'm meant to be going somewhere. I've just realised a different location. That's good. That's good. All right. Oh, that was it. Was it a drop catch? I just saw Maharaj. He's got 4. This is the other issue. India's fielding's been great, but they can't let it slip now.
Mm-hmm.
No, well, it was not really a catchable edge. Yeah. It was through the gap.
No, because the runs also losses, like India cannot even afford giving, runs off also. So it's not that India scored a big 300 plus or something like that. So they have to take wickets as well as be economical at the same time.
Oh, yeah. So
but I think the next biggest only I would see is, as mentioned, that the guy to grind it out there is Bavuma. If India can get him quickly, then this surely would be not. Not
and
long.
Shami's also very good in this position. He's a tremendous bowler, Shami.
Agreed.
And I haven't got Siraj, but I think Umesh Yadav is also a wicket taker. No, it's incredible. So your comments were very insightful. Everybody made comment about what you were saying. I saw that. And you were talking in terms of if certain things happen and India's wickets or the team doesn't fall away. But you can't knock ViratKohli yesterday.
Yeah, Virat Kohli's knock yesterday was very good, and I'm sure if one batsman would have been there, like if I say, like if Vihari would have played yesterday, I would say India would have been 300 plus, and Kohli would have got a century for sure. I believe that, and this is really the ground reality we are seeing. Like you can say in all the matches, once the openers are out, you just add 50 runs to India's total, and from 2 down they would be 6 down. This is really like even the pace at which Pujara and Rane play. It's like 10 overs go by and the score is just increased by 10 or 15 runs. So even the pace at which they play is not there. At least last 2 innings, I'm seeing there is a big change in Pujara. But other than that, it's a very sorry state of affair for the Indian batting lineup, and the other sorry state, it's not that as if they are lack of batsmen or lack of players. You have Vihari behind, you have Iyer behind. Then there are so many opening combinations in which you can get one player down. That is another thing. Rohit Sharma is still not back in the side. I don't know. I heard very recently about Rohit Sharma that he has been told to reduce his weight by some 6.5 kgs because one third of the year is out due to injury.
So what are you saying? You should have less. You should be playing less.
No. He what I understand that BCCI, I don't know how true is this, but I heard this that BCCI has told Rohit Sharma that before this next series he has to lose 6.5 kgs of his weight, body weight, and they are saying the major reason of these injuries is his additional body weight. Not body shaming or anything, but this is a reality.
That's a bit like telling Inzamam al-Haq to lose weight or Arjuna Ranachonga to lose weight. I think that's a bit of a big ask, isn't it, really?
Yeah, but that time, see, you need to look at it this way, Norman, that in the 90s when Arjuna Tunga or Inzamam played, that they were not playing so much cricket, given that there were no T20s, and the calendar year was not that full. That was number one. Number two, also, the cricket was not that aggressive. Like, in terms of if you saw Inzamam in field or if you saw Rana Tunga in field, they were not people who were like, running or diving. But nowadays, if you see, cricket has become very aggressive, where fielding has given so you really have to be running out. So that's a big. The intensity of cricket has also changed a lot because of T20 and the impact of T20 both on the calendar as well as the physical runtime during the game. So it's a different era. That's what you cannot compare every time. Like many people say, compare Don Bradman with X guy or Sachin with X guy, but you can only compare during an era. You like within a 10-year.
Explain to me Rakim Cornwall then.
Yeah, Rakim Cornwall is in its place. He's in the West Indies team and he's there. He's in a place. They have found a place for him. He's there. He's an outlier. I agree on that, but he's an outlier, and he's not a batsman. Look, he's a slow off spin bowler, and in the field he always stands in slip. That's so they have.
If you nick the ball to Rakim Cornwall, he will swallow it.
Yeah, he does.
And I mean, he can hit the ball. I'll tell you what, he can hit the ball. There's no argument for that. Oh, Jesus! Did you see that delivery? Bumrah absolutely cut Pete Maharaj in half and should have bowled him, but it even beat the keeper. It went back so fast. What a ball!
I think Bumrah's song "Let's Hope he."
Oh, he went straight through. Should have bowled him, but it didn't for some reason. Oh, it just missed the stumps. Unbelievable delivery.
So anyway, coming back to how many Rakim Cornwalls are there also? Like if you look overall, the teams, at least the top teams, if you see,
there's a guy in the Bahamas still flying around.
Yeah,
Maharaj got an inside edge then and almost bowled him again. Oh my God. I mean, I know what you're saying. There are more people who are fitter, more agile, more, capable. They're playing more matches. But, Baram, don't you tell me that they can't have guys that are overweight playing cricket, because some of the best cricketers through many generations have not been fit. I mean, even Johnny Bairstow is carrying a few kilos. I gave him
I'm not saying that, but then if that is becoming a reason of you getting injuries, then there must be something over there.
Yeah, I guess.
If you are overweight, you're not getting injured, then okay, nobody has nothing. But if that is causing you to be out of the team action for more than 4 months, like around 4 months in a year. 4 months in a year is you're talking about 1/3 of a year. So
what
injuries?
So what injuries have Robert Sharma had? He's had a knee injury and a hamstring injury.
Hamstring, recently.
Yeah. I mean, he does play a lot of cricket, especially in the IPL as well. Going back to the IPL for a minute, just while we're talking here. Hardik Pandya it's almost clear to me he's not playing Test cricket again, and he's going to solely focus on IPL, where he makes a lot of his money, captaining the Ahmedabad team. I'd say that's where he'll.
Earlier, I don't know. I was very confused that earlier news came out that he would be captain of the Lucknow franchise, and immediately it was. I don't know. It was a mistake that, and then they said Ahmedabad makes sense because he's from that region and he has many followers, so that makes very good sense.
And
It,
Lucknow will probably
it
get.
makes very good business sense. I would put it in that way. Like a for team owners of Ahmedabad, it makes very good business sense.
Well, it does, because one that he's going to be playing all the matches.
Yes.
He's still got a great following, and he's not a bad short form player. But you know, he can concentrate on that, and the test duties won't come his way. And I don't think the short format will either. I think it's a good move. There's some of these players who are Indian, out and out champions, but can't make the Indian team, have to start to understand they can be very wealthy if they concentrate on the IPL, and it could actually help the IPL because they know they've got this player the whole time. They won't be subjected to injury or other pressures from the BCCI. They'll play IPL. I think that's what I think should happen, and I think it's a good thing.
Let's see. Let's hope so. That
So
way,
Debashis
because there was even some
saying
news that BCCI was not happy with Rohit Sharma in terms of not giving incorrect information about fitness of Bumrah. Fitness of Hardik Pandya, and that was the reason why he was selected for the T20 World Cup. So that was also something they were not happy with.
I mean, Rohit Sharma may end up just concentrating on the IPL. You might see that happen. Not that he's not good enough to play Test cricket, but I think he may make a business decision as well. Because
I think maybe 2 or 3 years from now could be possible. 2 or 3 years from now could be possible for sure. Because if you see Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli are looking at 4 or 5 years of more cricket form than international cricket. Like,
have a look at this comment. This Debashis Mahanti saying Norman's supporting England against Australia and now supporting South Africa against India. Is that me or him? Because I'm not supporting South Africa.
Yeah, the England part, I would say, yeah, initially you were, but when you saw England performing so badly, we were like, like you get sympathy, you start supporting them. But at least in South Africa versus India, I don't see you anytime. I did not even feel anytime that you were supporting.
I'm not I've never been a huge South African fan. There's something about the rivalry between Australia and South Africa. I could never like South Africa. Isn't it true? South Africa is a team people don't often like. Because they've been really good for years, of course, as well.
I in fact were rooting a lot for South Africa in the 1999 World Cup. Where Australia won and there was that match. You remember where it drew and Lance Cruiser were there. That time I was rooting a lot, but when the match got drawn.
To be honest with you, I love the fact that South Africa choked. I love it. I love it. It's quite an amusing thing for me to watch South Africa choke because they are usually a very good quality team, whether it's short or long format. But they've lost their way hugely at the moment. Huge set of problems there. Losing de Kock now. Only got Elgar left, really, who's got any substance. Markram's okay. These other guys aren't good enough. They got good. Rabada's obviously good, but there's something severely missing in South African cricket. The way they approached Amla, AB de Villiers, messy. Well, Maharaj is surviving at the moment. But
a beautiful 4.
All right, so yeah, South Africa started well. They're going to continue to take wickets.
Last 2-3 overs, they're hitting a 4 every over, either by
but Bumrah's absolutely cut Maharaj apart with several deliveries. He's been very lucky. He played a good shot, but he's also been very lucky to be. He's just not good enough a batter to handle some of those balls coming in. Or there's a comment about India running on the wicket. And there's been a complaint made. Ooh.
Okay.
I wonder if that is deliberate. Whether India were trying to scuff the wicket up a little bit to
for the last innings,
give Ashwin a bit of a go. Come on, Bumrah, smash those stumps. The South African batsmen look like they're on a hot tin roof. They're very jumpy. very unsettled. Tharoon V's joined us. All right, I think we might have an early mark here. What do you reckon?
Early mark.
As in, I'm sorry, I'm finish the show. I've been on for an hour. But,
Okay.
What are your thoughts? Tell me, Bram, what are your thoughts of today?
Well, my thoughts, I hope India get them out within 150, 160. Then I think India would be in a good position. Even if the lead is, even if they go slightly in the lead or lead is very less, like say 10, 20 runs, India would, given the current batting performance of India, I don't see India scoring more than 250 unless these guys act up. Pujare, Rane, they need to come into the show, and even Pant, because otherwise we are seeing the same repeat of, if the openers get out cheaply, then it's gone. India is not able to do much.
India have done a great thing. They've got rid of Markram and Dean Elgar. They're the two big guns. They got rid of them very, very, very cheaply. Maharaj's proving a bit of a pain in the butt, and Peterson, I don't rate him. But they haven't got a lot of runs to play with. They've got to.
Yeah, that's the problem. They don't have much to play with, and the rate at right now, if you see, they are going at almost 4 runs and over.
They've got to keep attacking fields. I really maintain they've got to keep players in catching positions because the wickets will come.
Yes.
Shami deserves 4 slips. He's got them, I think.
And Umesh Yadav also needs to come into the show taking wickets, not just.
He's a wicket taker. He's definitely a wicket taker.
At least if not taking wickets, at least be very, very economical. For sure.
Yeah.
Okay, Norman, then I'll also make a move. Maybe you can wrap up the show.
Soon. All right, thanks, Baram.
Thanks
for joining us
everyone.
again.
Take care.
Your comments are always great.
Yeah, sure.
They are.
How was the one with the SCG being very flat and
I saw your comments. Don't worry.
I know you noticed.
Always good. Always
Bye-bye.
good. Always good.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
You know that. See you, Baram. Yeah, we certainly have been very lucky to have some great guests on. The match is now 2 for 35, so they're trailing by 188. By no means is anyone really in front here, but it certainly is an impressive performance by South Africa. Sorry, by India, but they've got to keep going now. Come on, Bumrah takes some wickets. Oh, he's going very close. He's bowling really well. Bowling sensational. Will Ashwin come early to bowl today? Cricket Mirror. I don't know. I think Bumrah's got to do a lot more damage with Shambi before they need to go that far. Nice to see you come home, mate. Take care. Yeah, I'm here now. Still not got rid of this damn thing. I got another test. I'm still positive, which really annoys me, but I do feel better. Certainly. But Bumrah's a better test player than Markham. Markham's damn good, though. I think Markham's a worry. Oh, Jesus, what a ball. Maharaj is surviving. Maharaj is doing a bit better than he should. He should have been out by now. Well, he missed 2 balls, neck and crop, and should have been out, but the ball was too good. Certainly too good. Now, I posted something earlier today. Ross Taylor actually had a post-match, not just after the match, but the day after, in fact, and was pondering how his career went and the way that his family was with him. That was fantastic to see. I've got that to come out. It hasn't quite released itself yet. Yeah, Kohli did very well. He's had a Pujara in that 223. It just looks like it's a bigger score there, but only got 223, which is a bit frustrating. India need to continue to take wickets. They need to get on top of a few more of these batters. Yeah, Kohli got out to a ball going away, but he did very, very well with his 79 runs. He top scored in the play. Oh, he looks like he's out, is he? Oh, just went short. Peterson's all over the shop here, getting edges left, right, and centre. And India's got a bit of luck here. They would have had both these guys out. Beautiful delivery from Shami. Ball just not reaching Rahul there in time. They'll start coming, and then they'll come in a flood. 100, 160. The way they're playing, if they get a bit of luck, they would have had them 4 down now. They're a bit deep. Oh, that's just not good enough to edge that ball. Just not good enough. Peterson has no idea what he's doing. Stuck his bat out there. Beautiful delivery. A beautiful line. They're nowhere near the ball. Yes, these Shami's just bowling too well. Oh, he had no idea. No idea. He'll get the line right. A little bit more close to the bat, and then you'll get him edging it. Peterson looks rubbish. Omar Raj has been very lucky. Then the Van der Dussens will come in, and they'll be really in some deep trouble. India should restrict South Africa to under 100. They've done it in 3 of the 4 innings so far in the series. So, they should be able to do it here again. India have to keep their cool, just bowl the right lines, they'll get it. Sarari Guthrie can add to scorecard below if miss or live net. I'm going to add the scorecard below. Okay. So South Africa are 2 for 35. Let's put that up then. So India are all out for, what do they get all out for? 223. It looks very much like the first test, doesn't it? Second test. Two for 35. There we are. And again, poor batting in the first innings. Well, not from some of them, there wasn't. Shami's bowling well, so was Bumrah. Just keep attacking and the wickets will come. Then it'll come boom, boom, boom. Then they'll be in some deep trouble. They did go with Yadav instead of Ishant. They've done the right thing. Very much did the right thing. Very, very much. Oh, it's a beautiful setting. The blue sky with the tabletop mountains there in Cape Town. It is a beautiful setting. Looks a lot safer than Joburg, put it that way, doesn't it? Cape Town looks like a much better place to live. If I had a place to live in South Africa, I think I'd live in Cape Town. I would certainly not be living in, certainly wouldn't be living in Joburg, that's for sure. What a horrible place that is. Durban, yeah. But Joburg's disgustingly dangerous. Maharaj and Pearson are just really. Ishan has more overseas wickets. Well, yeah, good night, Paul Newman. I don't know. I think that the South African team are. Sorry, the Indian team are much better off with Umesh Yadav. Interesting that the mountains in the background, there's a fair bit of green leading up to it, so it's not overcrowded with buildings, which is interesting. Why haven't they got a man at selling it on? Should go out all out attack. They've given him a single there. There's a single there. No, I was on 17. Peterson. Bumrah's going to keep that incredible bowling action. It's just a magnificent bowling action. Yeah, Ishant Sharma's not a bad bowler. I'm not knocking him, but I think Umesh Yadav is the better solution. Let's see a wicket. Today, and no send a tablecloth at Vietnam. Full tablecloth. Dean now guys, they're relaxed in his blue outfit, not his his green, I should say. Having been dismissed for 3 runs. The inking signals out here. Olga had no idea. Called by Virat firstly. What's the time in Sydney at the moment? It is 8 p.m. So in India, it's 2:30 p.m. or is it, yeah, 2:30 p.m. Boomer looks fantastic when he bowls these. Oh, fantastic! So it's 8 p.m. here in Australia. Shami and Bumrah need to take a couple more wickets to really ram this home. Oh, hello, he went for that. Peterson's gone for that, and Peterson's all over the shop, not deserving. I can hear ocean sounds in the background. Now they're cars, actually. But Human, how are you doing? Good. I'm very well. The beach is not far away, but they're not. They're more car sounds, would you believe? Shami and Bumrah both deserve more wickets. They're bowling fantastically well. Things just aren't quite right, but they'll break through these two, and then both will go quick. Come on. Oh, Jesus. What happened to that? That was catchable there, I think. Rahul should. Maybe they're not deep enough. They're too deep. Maybe they need to be. Peterson's catching the edge every second ball now. It should be only a matter of time. Beautiful bowling by Charlie. Great long length. That was a catch. Rahul has dropped him. No, they didn't fall short. What's your thoughts on Joe Clark in the BBL? Haven't really been taken in the BBL as much as they should have. Joe Clark looks pretty good, but it's BBL after all. glued to the screen all and waiting for SA to crumble. Yeah, I am too. That was a drop catch. Drop catch by Rollo. He should have taken that. This Peterson's rubbish. So is Van der Dusen, and so is Bavuma. Bang, bang, bang. Bavuma just cutting batsmen apart. Both bowling fantastically well, not having any luck. Again, another edge. Jesus. One after this guy's just, he's like he's in there giving catching practice to his fielders. Shocking batsman. He's just sticking his bat at them. Really, that's not what he's doing. He's just that wasn't necessarily as full an edge. Great bowling though. Oh, beautiful. Absolutely magnificent delivery. Beat Peterson neck and crop. He's got no idea what he's doing. Beautiful delivery. Beautiful shape. And he just stuck his bat out there and wanted it to be edged. No idea. Frustrating. But they've got to keep at it. They've got to maintain this because they will get next and they will get wickets and the wickets will start to crumble. This team will be all that less than 100 the way they're going. Yeah, I agree. Why we haven't got a short leg and still been on off? They need to have those people. They don't need to stop the single. There's no one in close. Peterson's just rubbish. I'm sorry. But you really don't like Peterson here, man. I don't. Van der Dusen, Peterson, something very inadequate about their batting. Even worse than Hamid. Dean Elgar, a rate. Markram, a rate. Bavuma has his time, but that's it. That's really it. Then you got, potentially De Kock, but he's not playing. So, and then you got the bowlers. Maharaj is doing a better job at the moment. Oh, another whopping inside edge. They're getting the occasional single, but they're not getting much more at the moment. That's a nice comment to Hamid. Well, Hamid, he's frustrating to watch too. But he has no luck. Bumrah and also Shami are bowling just too well for these batsmen. These batsmen are just not good enough to get a hold of the ball. Ham beat like at least someone who worse than me. The fact is that these batsmen are not even good enough to get an edge. Had it been a Kohli, he would have probably got an edge to a few of these and gotten out because he's a better, more of a cable batsman. Does it? He'll get close to these great deliveries. So Justin Williams had 27 matches, 109 wickets. Made his debut here in Durban in January 2018. So he does like South Africa. Not having any luck. Bowling 141 clicks, good pace. 2 for 38. Only up time-wise, we've had that almost 40 minutes of play, and they've only hit 10 odd runs. 10, 15 runs. and lost a wicket. Got the ball coming in and going up. In Test cricket, lots of runs are coming from third man area, why captains are not keeping any fields there. Well, I understand that, but you also need to have attacking fieldsmen in the slips. So by putting a third man, it's somewhat of a defensive position this early in the innings. Need to have that man up to keep and catch it, not just stopping the one that gets through. Very frustrating guy. How did you enjoy Kohli the other day? He looked fantastic. He got 79, but he looked fantastic. I really was impressed. I loved watching him play. And even Pujara looked pretty good too. Punt tried hard, but didn't have that bit of luck. Pigeons seem to love the grass out there. It's a very quick over from Bumrah. I guess there's a lot of dot balls in that over. Who will you rate better, Smith or Labuschagne? Oh, Smith, clearly. Labuschagne has had a dream run, but I don't know whether it's going to. He's starting to have a couple of failures now. We'll see how many more failures he gets. Beautiful ground. Beautiful setting, certainly. All right, guys, ask me questions because I've been on for an hour and a half. We might stop soon, but a beautiful setting. From being on the grass there, looking up, you see the mountains. It's a beautiful setting. With this blue sky, it looks brilliant. I mean, the first day was very cloudy, so it's actually a much better batting day today, actually. Has Labuschagne been found out? He got lucky with so many drop catches. I remember he was in there. I think he did too. He's had a very good run. He's not going to have all that luck going forward. He'll go through a difficult period. Have you been to this day? No one looks tranquil. Yes, Newlands is a magnet. I have been there. Yes, it's magnificent. Labuschagne, identical twin of Smith when it comes to batting. Yeah, he's copied him a fair bit. That's a magnificent. This is Newlands, SCG, Adelaide Oval. I mean, up there in Dharmashala is beautiful ground too. Some of the best ground, obviously Lords. These guys, very ordinary batter, but they're getting through a period where they need to. And it could be very important because if they get through this period now and the weather improves, well, it's already improved, and the wicket settles down, it could get easier to bat. So Ashman's taking 430 test wickets, Tucker 24, Yadav 156, Shami 206, Bunma 109. Yeah, I wish Yadav's played 50 odd tests. Well, that ball was a bit too full. And Maharaj has survived some balls that should have got him out. They had a fairly nice cover drive. Touch too full. Little bit hole or cracked here today, but pitch at Newland. Yeah. They're going to take these early wickets because South Africa may get better. Not because they've got better players, but the conditions might get better. The score's 2 for 42. It's flattering South Africa somewhat, the score. Yeah, Australia's been lucky. All right. Hi, Norman. This is VJ Mogod. Do you think touring teams always take time to settle in Test cricket? As it was done in the fourth Test, and they are getting runs on the board. 5 Test matches series are good for cricket. It is. I can't understand why New Zealand only play 2 Tests. That's beyond me. Classic example here. They was 1-all. They should play at least 3, and because New Zealand are a top team, should be playing 3 Tests. Australia, England get 5. India, Australia are now getting 4-5. Yeah, it's a good point. Very good point. A minimum of 3 tests should be played behind with any test series, which gives a chance to one team to win. When Yalov's coming on now, this will be interesting. I think he could well have a good run here. Bit of luck go his way. From the Kelvin Grove end of Newlands. When will India next to Australia? I don't know. It's a couple of years off, I think. Maybe 24. Yeah, so looking, Rabada's taking 17, Jansen 15, McGiddy 12. The South African bowlers have done pretty well. Jansen's come in nicely. Almost really bowled a couple of overs. Rabada did bowl very well in the first innings. The wicket that he got, Kohli was way too wide there. Australia should go to Pakistan. Of course they should. They should go to Sri Lanka as well. Important for cricket to continue in those places. Absolutely. What happened there? Yumashadov. Maybe a little bit too high. Well, they should. They should be playing more of those sorts of series. I agree. The Indian bowlers are bowling well enough. It's just these guys are surviving somehow. South Africa 2 for 42. Well into this hour now. Another 11 minutes from an hour's play. Come on, let's see a wicket. And why there isn't a still limit on, I don't know. Shardul Thakur, the wicket taker, took 7 wickets last time he played, didn't he? Oh, God. Bangladesh lost the chance of winning it series in New Zealand 1-all tied. You're right, they could have easily won with it. Bangladesh did very well. New Zealand did well in the second test, mind you. Which is pace. 135. It's pretty good. A little bit faster. Great background. Those mountains look fantastic. It's a beautiful ground. No crowd. I'm guessing that's because of COVID. Yeah, India played 2 away test series, you're right. Maharaj is frustrating. Needs to get him out. He's just, he's very frustrating. He was cut in half several times then. And Shardul Thakur comes on now. In all fairness, he's a wicket taker. 4 great bowlers here. Maharaj is not an all-rounder. I wouldn't call him an all-rounder. He was a night watchman. So Shardul's career has had 7 matches. He's already taken 24 wickets as an all-rounder. 7 of her. He might be that little niggling pace that might tempt this vessel. There might be a few edges. But not bowling leg stump, you won't. Not the best of starts. This 44. Partnership 27 of 66 balls. We've witnessed this morning. All right, let's hope we get a wicket. And I think I may only continue if they get a wicket. Maharaj well settled. Well, I don't know whether he's that good a player. Thoughts on Kohli's innings, and I feel it was equivalent 100. It was a great innings. Time for Rahane to pack up. I agree. Yash Kumbly. Just one more away. Series left as per the WTC rule. Whom will they tour next? I'm not sure. Well, they got Bangladesh at home, haven't they? Sri Lanka at home. I'm not sure. Another single. Come on, Shardul Thakur, you wicket-taking player, you game breaker. Let's have you. We got rid of their gully. I don't know why. India are going to play Bangladesh for 2 tests at home. Well, that's good time for England to really play. Maharaj's limping, is he? Just watch that Hobart pitch. Lots of grass in it. It certainly is. It'll be, as day night, so it'll be movement. It'll be bowler friendly for sure. All right. I'm not going to stay longer than another 5 minutes. I want to see India get a wicket. Peterson facing Thakur. Thakur's by a little nice gentle outswinger. He'll get an edge. You watch. Let's go. Oh, leading edge there. Peterson looks garbage. Maharaj looks a better batsman. Six Gun Grill Newlands. That's the end is called, or the ground's called 6 Gun Grill. It must be some burger chain that they've got in South Africa. The Newlands is now sponsored by. Four years. Yeah, Rebecca Van Dort and Apuni Hunsinger, two players that played for Sri Lanka, have been in Australia 3-4 years. They're probably close to 4 years now. Yes, absolutely. Shut up. Absolutely smashed down the wickets. Took 2 or 3 stumps out there. That's why he's in the team. Full shot. What happened to Alyssa? Look here. It's pretty full. Kept coming in. Oh, just middle stump, leg stump, bang. It was going to happen. Awful, awful shot, to be honest. Let's go. Let's have a collapse now. You got nothing coming. I mean, Van der Dusen. So the Women's Ashes starts the 27th of January. It's just a few weeks on. Is it raining on it? Is it? No. That's a good wicket for it to fall. If they're not, Watson has done his job. You'd have to argue that's true. It is interesting what happens with the good old our man. What did you eat, Norman, sir, today? I'm waiting on. I'm going to have a rice curry in a minute. I don't think South Africa's to collapse. I want to see a good test match which can go to 5 days. No, through and I want to see India smash South Africa. Because India are first, South Africa 6. There should be nothing close about this match. Australia's got milk, of course, and Maggi and Milo. Correct. Just our brand in Malaysia similarities. They are very similar, yes. Not sure what's going on here on this node. Slightly stuck broadcast here. Russie Van der Dusen's done stuff all so far. He's 32 years of age. I don't know what the story's behind him. Yadav can't wait to bowl about this. I'm sure he'll get an early wicket here. There's a single there. Straight through him. Yadav looks the goods. It's not a matter of being boring. It's a matter that's exciting cricket too. If you go through a team, if you're the better team, then somebody should trash them. Three for 47. Like that, 3 for 48. All right, guys. I think that's long enough for the show, so we'll continue watching more tomorrow. Hopefully, we've got South Africa in a good, in a low-scoring position. India do well; they deserve it. They're the top team in the comp. All the best for Malaysia Cricket Association to make a host after a long Traore Guthrie. Say hello to Winnie Durasan for me, a great cricketer that she is. We'll talk to each other tomorrow, guys. So if you like and share, subscribe to the channel. We'll see you all tomorrow.